Hello and welcome to Your Gov Nonpart, Political Science and Government for Everyone. And today we're going to talk about the filibuster. I had a rather lengthy conversation with my ex-wife, Maggie McClelland, about this, and she suggested perhaps that I demonstrate filibuster for you by standing here and continually arguing incessantly for 2 hours without letting up. But we had a good laugh about that, but thought it probably wouldn't be real interesting. So I'm going to try and explain filibuster and cloture to you in some rather simple terms. Filibuster is a political tactic. It is used to halt or stall the vote on an issue, on a bill, and this is used exclusively in the Senate. There is no act of filibuster in the House of Representatives. This is something that has historically always been in the Senate. Now, a filibuster doesn't necessarily have to be about the issue. The senator who gets up and starts talking can talk literally about anything they want. They can carry on about the issue, which is usually what you want to hear them do to make their argument. But if they're just trying to stall, either to buy time or to preclude a vote, they can talk about anything. They can talk about what they had for dinner, they can talk about their marriage, they can talk about astronomy. They don't have to yield the floor as long as they don't stop talking. And herein lies the problem. These people who want to stop an issue or to buy time have to be men or women of great conviction, because you try and stand and talk for hours at a time. You cannot sit, you cannot lean on anything. You're not allowed to have anything to drink or anything to eat, which is good because you're not allowed to leave to go to the bathroom. You have to continually talk. You cannot yield. However, you may yield for a question without actually yielding the floor, which means you can then sit down and take a rest, maybe get a drink of water. You don't want to leave. I wouldn't go to the bathroom because you don't want something to happen while you're gone. But if you yield for a question, and the question can be lengthy, you can then pick up at the end of a question. Also, filibusters are not necessarily carried out by a single senator. They can be carried out by a group of senators. One yielding to the next, and in theory, a filibuster could go on indefinitely. Now they don't, but they go on for very long periods of time. The individual historical record for a single senator filibustering was in 1964, when the late Senator Strom Thurmond spoke for 24 hours and 18 minutes continuously in order to preclude or to hold up a vote on a particular issue. The Senate has a few eccentricities to this particular tactic. Budget issues, budget bills, fall under what's called a rule called reconciliation. Any bill pertaining to budget is not subject to filibuster. It must come to a vote within a given period of time. It used to be only on deficits, but as of 1996, it now includes all matters of budget cannot be filibustered. So there are some exceptions, but there's also another process that we mentioned called cloture. If a senator or group of senators is going on and on trying to keep this from coming to a vote, how do we get around this? How do we bring it to a vote? And this is where cloture comes in. Rule 22 of the Rules of the Senate allows for a motion of cloture. Now the way this will happen is that a senator is carrying on a filibuster. He's talking and talking and talking. Another senator will call to the chair for a point of order. This is a point of parliamentary procedure. The senator giving the filibuster must pause for the point of order. During the time that the person has called to the chair, once he is recognized, he can call for a motion of cloture. If there is a second, the motion will be voted on. Cloture is specifically, the only thing cloture is a motion to cease debate to cease the filibuster and to bring the issue to the floor for vote immediately. Cloture requires a 3/5 majority of the Senate, duly appointed and sworn, not a quorum, an actual 3/5 of the total Senate. In other words, it takes at least 60 votes to pass a motion of cloture. Now, in recent years, the use of filibuster has grown, as have the number of motions for cloture. As of the 110th Congress, 112 motions for cloture were presented and passed. It has become an increasingly used tactic. Now, I'm not going to tender an opinion on whether filibuster is a good thing or a bad thing. That's not the point of this channel. It's for you to understand what filibuster is and how it is ended by a motion of cloture. Right? Sometimes, perhaps, filibuster can be a good thing. It allows your staff to bring additional materials that you can present to the Senate, information that they were not aware of that you don't have at hand. Perhaps it's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing because it's used strictly as a partisan tactic. That maybe is a bad thing. Immaterial for our purposes. Filibuster simply means you don't have to yield the floor as long as you can continue talking. It's an infinite debate, and it is not necessarily a single senator. Cloture, again, specifically used to end that, and often successfully used to end it. So I'd like to thank you for watching Your Gov Non-Parts segment on the filibuster. I will not stand here for the next 2 hours and talk incessantly. We hope, however, that you will take some time to consider picking subscribe above, that you can always find us on Facebook. If you have questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. We'll be happy to try and answer your questions. And as always, thank you for watching.